What it do, YouTube? It's your boy, Mr. MeatShower, and if you're thinking, Jesus, Pat, you've gotten fat since your last video, you'd be right. But today we're going to talk about the MCR versus the ACR. I just realized a trigger pin's missing from my MCR, so does more expensive mean more better? Yes, it fucking does. Dude, there's a trigger pin missing.
No way.
That's serious.
What?
Oh no, it's
Almost missing.
almost. Dude, no, what the fuck? Like, look, it
broke in half and half came off.
We're here today at the Chilliwack Fishing Game Club to find out, does more expensive mean more better? But before we get into the video, we gotta thank our sponsors. I'd like to give a big thank you to Siwash Sports in Chilliwack, BC for providing the ammo for today's video. A shout out to Silvercore Training. Whether you want to get your PAL, you're a new shooter and want to get some experience or some training, or you're an experienced shooter and just want to keep that edge, check out Silvercore Training. And a big, humongous thank you to FortKnight Optics. Hey, do you like Zeiss lenses? Do you want a frame and lens set that's ANSI and mil-spec rated and all made here in BC? FortKnight Optics, go check them out. We have an announcement with FortKnight Optics at the end of the video. So it's no secret, after the May 1st OIC, there's not a lot of options for AR platforms for us legal gun owners here in Canada. The only options that are really left in Canada when it comes to .223 sporting rifles are the AR-180 style rifles. But there are a few lucky people out there that do have the Bushmaster non-restricted ACR. Now luckily, I know, and I'm a friend with one of the people who owns a non-restricted Bushmaster ACR. 3-gun competitor, DSS competitor, long-range competitor, and also Silvercore trainer, Adam Bach. Smell great. One thing we would like to point out before we get any further into the video is that all MIGs used in these firearms today are pinned and were legally purchased in Canada. So you can, with your, you shot more than 5 pounds! You shot more than 5 pounds! How did you more than 5 pounds? So, Adam, we've done some drills, we've done some shooting today. So let's do some comparisons of the two guns. So both of them, they have, this is an 18.5 inch barrel or 18.7 inch barrel. What is it on the ACR?
18.6.
18.6. So they're both non-restricted, 18 some odd inch barrels. What have you done to yours?
From the factory, what I have done to this particular ACR, I put a Surefire SOCOM brake onto it, and I have a RPM hand guard on the front of my rifle.
Stock internals for everything?
Stock internals for everything. Nice scope. Stock Geisley trigger that comes with the DMR model, which is definitely a nice upgrade. Nice.
Fuck, I love that trigger. Oh! There's no fucking comparison. There's no fucking comparison.
For this, I mean, all I've done to this is I've put the Kodiak Defense bolt catch on here. Magpul CTR stock, I've changed the H2 grip to the BCM gunfighter style grip. And I run an O-Light flashlight on here because
I also like to live dangerously.
The great thing about the O-Light flashlight is if you push the button right here. But other than that, your gun is completely stock.
Internally, 100% from the factory stock.
And yeah, this is as well. Except soon not to be because one of my trigger pins broke off when we were shooting it earlier. So let's list some of the things that these guns have in common. They both shoot .223
Yep.
or 5.56. I mean, yours now also has an M-LOK handguard. Actually, they both have a very similar gas system, the AR-180 style gas system, which honestly, there's a lot of downfalls with this gun, but I've never had it not cycle properly. I've never had like a double feed. I've never it's actually. I know some people say that theirs are really overgassed, but mine's actually fed really well, which is kind of surprising. I thought it was going to be a bit of a nightmare when it came to that. How about with yours?
Realistically, no issues. I keep it clean after I shoot for a day. I will take it home and give it a good cleaning. Other than that, I've put it through the ringer with various competitions. It has cycled 100% reliable. I have had some minor hiccups, but that's basically due to more mag-related issues than rifle-related issues. They are very few and far in between, and it's been a reliable 3-gun competition rifle ever since I've owned it.
And the great thing about these guns, too, is that since they are still semi-AR platform rifles, is that you can put AR-15 parts on the gun. I mean, we're talking flash hiders, we're talking triggers. They both run AR mags. For mine, all I've run is these 4.58 SOCOM mags, and I've run the Cross Mag Industries, and for the most part, they've run pretty good. I've had a few issues with the cross mag industries, but I'm suspect on whether it's the gun doing it or if it's the mag. How about, like, what mags have you run through yours?
I've ran P mags, I've ran hex mags, SOCOM 458 mags, I've ran the LAR 10 rounders. It just keeps eating.
Like Diane Keaton.
So some of the differences. Now let's go over the differences, and there is a lot of differences with these guns. One thing that I've got to point out as a left-handed shooter, this gun truly is ambidextrous.
Oh, I just realized too, this is ambidextrous.
Yeah?
Fuck.
Everything is.
I mean, you have the mag release on both sides, the bolt catcher, the bolt release down here, ambidextrous selector there. Another example too is you're able to move the charging handle from the left side to the right side, where with the MCR with the charging handle, it is stuck here on the left side. You can't flop it over to the right. Also just realized this freaking handguard too is Jesus Christ. But I think one of the most obvious cons with the ACR versus the MCR is the price. I mean, MCRs, well, I mean, they're starting to get a little more expensive now. Before, you used to be able to get them for $1,100. Now they're about $1,500. What was that ACR brand new?
ACR brand new, back when they were available. This was actually one of the first ACRs to come onto the Canadian market as the non-restricted model. I believe I paid after taxes just a hair over $3,000 for this.
And what are they worth now used?
If you can find them used, I've seen them go for up to $5,500. More realistic price on the used market is probably in that, hovering in and around that $4,000 mark.
After shooting this earlier, you get what you pay for with this gun. I would not pay $5,000 for one, but $3,000 for one, I'd have no problem. I mean, just thinking back, 2 years ago, you would be able to get, for $1,500, you'd be able to get a solid AR platform. Now all that it can get you is this, but I can't say I would pay $5,500 right now for an ACR, but $3,000 I'd have no problem paying for one. So what do you think about the MCR?
For me, where the charging handle is just feels unnatural.
Yeah.
It's not the area that I'm used to looking AR platform, or of course what I'm trained on, which is my ACR. Mm-hmm. Obviously the issues that we've already experienced today, things loosening up, lost trigger pins, fore ends backing off, buttstock, castle nuts loosening off, things of that nature, but that of course is simple maintenance.
Hey guys, something not so chill happened. When I was editing the original version of this video, a bunch of video just somehow got deleted by my editing program, which will remain nameless right now. I've contacted the cyber police to see if they can figure out where the footage has gone. They have some suspects and some people of interest, but a lot of good footage is now floating around in cyberspace. Who knows where it is? So anyways, to make up for the lost footage, we're going to continue the interview via video chat. Here we go. I know you've probably fired a few before by doing DSS matches and other stuff that you're involved with in the shooting community. What was your impression of the MCR?
I think the first thing that kind of comes to mind for me is the relief cuts in the back of the pistol grip on your particular platform. Mm-hmm. I know this is a lot smoother, a little more contour to the hand. I remember finishing a course of fire with your firearm and having visible red marks on my hand from that. Mm-hmm. And I could see after a prolonged day of shooting or a competition or training or whatnot, I could see that being something that could get annoying pretty quick.
I do agree. I mean, you can get the new lowers, like TNA makes one and Spectre also makes one. But I mean, then you're having to drop another $300, if not, all said and done with shipping and taxes, it's well over $300 when the gun should be like that out of the box already.
100%.
And then, so what are some of the other cons that you've felt that you felt about the rifle as I try to continuously realign the handguard?
I think the other thing that really kind of stuck out for me was the mag changes. Hey, listen, non-mag well, I was fumbling with finding where the fucking mag goes.
I hate the fucking magwell so much.
I feel that the non-flared magwell and the just the design of it, how it's angled differently than what a standard AR or ACR in this case, it was something that definitely would have needed a little bit more practice to get proficient on. It certainly was something that I was stalling out in my mag changes, where I've never had that issue with anything with like a flared mag well or something with just a little more uniform relief cuts put down here, right?
And that's the other thing I don't get too, kind of back onto the aftermarket lowers. Is, you know, you look at them, they've done a good job. They've slimlined it. They, you know, it's a lot more ergonomic looking, but they still keep this mag well. I don't understand that. I don't get why they do. I think the TNA one is a little more flush. It's a little more flat, kind of similar to like your old school Gen 1 416.
Someone will let us know in the comments.
Someone will. Kind of just piggyback on your comment there too. Is this upper receiver too? Like, you know, if you look at the bolt carrier group, there's so much fucking mass carrying this small little bolt where they could have shrunk it down. I mean, the proof is that you can do it. You're holding it right there in your hand right there, where they took a bolt carrier group, shrunk it down, made it to what it needs to be. The SIG MCX has done it, where it's a massive beefy bolt and or bolt carrier group. So they could have shrunk that down, which would have also shrunk down this upper receiver. They could have made it a little more slimline and stuff like that, also taking away some ounces, making it a little bit lighter.
I'm sure there's some kind of formula that somebody created in order to actually get the gas system working correctly. So, you know, definitely you could have probably knocked a few ounces off of that thing, because you're right, it is a beefy bolt carrier group.
Thick.
So,
I mean, yeah, there's obvious flaws and cons, short of that, and, you know, trigger pins breaking and front handguards coming loose. What were some of the pros that you liked about the rifle?
You know what, I would say it was as smooth as my ACR. It obviously performed flawlessly, even with lack of a trigger pin there. You know, he did the full day.
Half a trigger pin. It's got 1.5 trigger pins in it right now.
You know what? It's a functional, it's a viable semi-auto in the Canadian market. And with what we unfortunately have been given, you know, in our current state with the OIC that came down, you know, as a semi-auto 223 caliber platform, it's probably going to be one of the better things on the market within a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Right?
Now let's go on to your rifle. I'll do the pros and cons about your rifle. I mean, the pros are, I mean, right there, just being able to fold this stock. Mind you, again, like you can get the aftermarket kits for that for this. You can get the Galil stock, or you can get the Magpul Zukov AK style stock adapter on here. I'll start off with the smaller one, which is the cons, and that's that it doesn't come. And again, this is a personal gripe. Yours doesn't come with a full length front handguard there, where, you know, as you can see here, I have multiple places. I have so much real estate to mount accessories, which is great. Where yours limits it. Now you can get some other stuff, but, you know, there's not a lot of full length where you're able to take advantage of all this barrel space.
Parts is also going to be a big thing, going to be a big con against the ACR platform right now. I'm cringing at the day where something in this breaks, which then, of course, finding replacement parts is going to be difficult. I got a good buddy who had the firing pin break on his ACR during a 3-gun match, and you think it's as simple as going out and getting your run-of-the-mill AR-15 firing pin? Well, it's not. Of course, it's proprietary to the Bushmaster ACR, and there's a couple of companies in the States that support it that you can pick it up. By the time you purchase it and ship it down here, it's a $150 firing pin.
So proprietary parts, I mean, that's the one thing that the MCR definitely has a pro right now, is that so many of them are fucking up.
Parts are everywhere.
Parts are everywhere, considering it's the only, like, what, or essentially, like, let's you know, really what it is right now, it's one of the only 223 sporting rifles out there. Yeah, like they're pumping out replacement parts galore. Now the pros with your rifle, I've got almost too many to list. I mean, it's fully ambidextrous. As a left-handed shooter, I fully appreciate that. The ergonomics, just like everything with that gun, makes sense. Now, you and I both know from airsoft, and we both had Masadas at one point. So we were, you know, for me, holding that thing was just like, oh yeah, no, it's like, oh, hello, old friend.
Here it is, right?
It's been a minute. Where everything is short of the charging handle. Everything was all within, you know, almost kind of like that diver's triangle, but for your firing hand. Like, you know, the diver's triangle where all your important gear is supposed to be within that. I found with the ACR, everything was all right there. Now, mind you, you could say the same with this, but then again, this was a $70 aftermarket part that doesn't come with a gun. And then for me being a left-handed shooter, there's no mag release right there, where on the ACR, there is. Your selector's right there, and then to send that bolt forward right there, like it's all just within that diver's triangle of your hand. Another one of the pros, the stock Geisley trigger. I mean, like, it's great. Where the trigger in this, well, I covered it in my last video. It is not good. And to back up that statement, 1.5 trigger pins. The fact that you can get a charging handle, you can flop the charging handle on either side, where you can't do that with this. The fact that you can also get a dual side charging handle, and it's non-reciprocating, unlike this. So if your hand's in the wrong place, well, then your hand entered the wrong dojo. Some of the drills we ran the 1-to-5 drill, the 2-2-4-2-2 drill, and the El Presidente drill. So what I noticed is just watching the footage that we have, when it comes to running the trigger, both of us, when running your gun, had very similar par times. But then you watch it, the cadence that we had with this and with the trigger on this, and both of us were significantly slower. So the Geisley trigger that comes, I mean, it shows, when you put a proper trigger in your system, you're able to just run it better. Yeah, I mean, you watch my par times of doing any of the drills with the MCR versus what I'm doing with the ACR, and it's night and day, and vice versa from you. It really shows that a good trigger in your system makes sense. I mean, to wrap it all up, you've had that gun for how long now?
6 to 8 now, for sure.
So I think that's very fair. Yeah, because you had that gun in and around the time that I met my wife. So yeah, but in that 6 to 8 year range, short of your front end there and the stock, what have you had to put into your gun to keep it running besides CLP? Have you had to replace any parts on it?
Ammo. That's the only thing I've ever had to put into this thing. I haven't replaced a single thing thus far in the life of me owning this thing.
Yeah, where 2,000 rounds in for me, and she's about to go in for her first warranty. Yeah, and my story is not unique. That's the other thing. Looking on Reddit, looking on the Facebook groups, my experience is on par, where it's like, I put a couple 100 rounds through this thing. This is the greatest thing ever, to once you start getting to that 3 zeros behind how many rounds you put through it, it's just like,
what's it gonna be?
I've heard rifles about the gas. I mean, you've seen it, gas rod snapping.
To go on that, actually, funny story. I was teaching a case course for DSS, Dynamic Sport Shooting here, and a gentleman shows up and wants to run his case course with his 7.62x39 MCR. Ran a few courses of fire, did a couple drills, everything was going fine. The very last course of the day, which was his qualifier, either a pass or fail, he had a major malfunction in his MCR, one of which I assisted him in the safe area to basically disassemble his rifle and see what was going on. We later found out it was his op rod that actually snapped in half, his piston rod. And of course, I'm shaking my head going, hey man, well, you got this if you want to use it. I had a whole bunch of other guns lined up. He goes, no, I can fix that. And I'm like, bro, your rod snapped in half. There's nothing to fix. He goes, no, I have a parts kit. This kid whips out a bag and he has every single pin, spring, Allen key, you name it, that is on that rifle as a spare. He took the gas block off. He had that thing running with a new op rod in the matter of 15 minutes. He actually finished his case course with his own firearm. And he had enough wisdom to know, hey, maybe if I'm going to be buying this platform, maybe I put a couple extra bucks into a complete overhaul kit in case something were to go down. And for his sake, he passed his case course because he brought that. And, he was able to show up with his rifle and finish the day with it in operating condition after that, of course. So
does more expensive mean more better?
Absolutely.
100% it does. Yes, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. But anyways, I would like to thank Adam Bach for coming out today, for shooting. Make sure you check out his social media. Send him some love. Also, would like to thank Siwash Sports for providing the ammunition for today. Big PP Energy for Siwash Sports. Check them out. Chilliwack, BC. Local shop with big shop prices. And I would, of course, like to thank FortKnight Optics for making this video happen today. Before we go, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. And also, check out my social medias. Or don't. As I stated at the beginning of the video, I feel like doing a giveaway. During the month of November, on one day on my Twitch stream, I will be giving away 1 pair of FortKnight Ballistic 308 glasses. Come check it out, twitch.tv/Mr. MeatShower, and maybe you'll be the winner of a cool pair of FortKnight Optics. Also, I'll be giving away 1 tub of Swift Lifestyles Gamer Fuel. So come check it out, twitch.tv/Mr. MeatShower. Maybe you'll win. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a good one.